Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This time we will going to learn about ion exchange process. This process is also known as demineralization process and deionization process. Ion exchange process is a type of external water treatment. So what is this process? Ion exchange is a process by which ions held on a porous, which is essentially insoluble solid, are exchanged for ions in solution that is brought in contact with it. So ion exchangers are the columns which are provided with the cation exchanger polymer and anion exchanger polymer. Both these polymers have the ability to exchange their cations and anions with the ions present inside the water. So let us read about this process in detail. Ion exchange resins are insoluble cross-linked long-chain organic polymers. So these are basically the polymers which have a microporous structure. So this microporous structures allows the ions to exchange. Now these polymers also have acidic and basic functional groups attached to them. So this group basically helps in the removal of cations as well as the removal of anions. So ion exchanger resins are of two types, cation exchanger resins and anion exchanger resin. So ion exchanger resin, if we talk about a polymer, it is insoluble, it is cross-linked and have a high molecular weight. It is an organic polymer with a porous structure. And the functional group attached to the chains are responsible for the ion exchange properties. So we have two types of ion exchangers. Number one, cation exchanger, and number two, anion exchanger. So what is the difference between the two? Cation exchangers are basically the styrene divinyl benzene polymers which on sulfonation or carboxylation become capable to exchange their hydrogen ions with the cations in the water. Similarly, anion exchanger are also the styrene divinyl benzene polymer. They have a basic functional group attached with them. So these basic functional group basically provides hydroxyl ion. So this hydroxyl ion exchanges the anions present in the water. So this is how, by using both the cation exchanger and anion exchanger, we can remove cations as well as anions present inside the water. Let us see about the structure. So this is the structure of cation exchanger and anion exchanger resin. As you can see here in cation exchanger resin, the acidic functional group is attached, that is SO3H. So this SO3H basically supplies the H plus ions inside the water. So this H plus is the exchangeable cation with the calcium and magnesium. If we talk about anion exchanger resin, then you can see that anion exchanger resin has a basic functional group. So this basic functional group basically provides hydroxyl ion. This hydroxyl ions are exchanged with the anions present inside the water. So once the water is allowed to pass through cation exchanger column where the protons are exchanged by the cations, and then once all the cations are removed, then this softened water is now allowed to pass through the anion exchanger column. And here in anion exchanger column, the anions like chlorides, sulfates, nitrates, etc. are removed with the help of hydroxyl ions. So they are exchanged by hydroxyl ions which are attached to the anion exchanger group. So this is the structure of resin. Cation exchanger and anion exchanger both are styrene divinyl benzene copolymer, and both have a different functional group attached. Cation exchanger have an acidic functional group, whereas anion exchanger has a basic functional group. So this is the overall softener looks alike. This is how the softener looks alike. Here you can see that the softener has two units. Number one is cation exchanger unit, and number two, that is second half, is anion exchanger unit. Now let us see what happens. What are the components of this unit? If we talk about single unit, it is a cylindrical unit, and in this cylindrical unit, the polymer, that is cation exchanger polymer, is fixed. We have an inlet for water, and we also have an inlet for a regeneration system. Okay, so we require the regeneration when the polymer is completely exhausted. So what do we do in this process? The water is first allowed to pass through this inlet. It is then go through this cation exchanger sheet, where all the protons are exchanged by the cations present in the water. So the filtrate which we get here is now free from the cation causing hardness. Now this filtrate is then pumped into the pipe, and then it is allowed to pass through the anion exchanger column. So this is an inlet for anion exchanger column. Here the filtrate contain protons along with the anions present in the hard water. So these all anions are basically absorbed here in the anion exchanger resin, where all the hydroxyl ions are replaced by the anions present in the water. So now the filtrate which comes from here contains protons which were released here, and the hydroxyl ions which are released here. So protons and hydroxyl ion together, they combine to form the water. So here in this way, the water is now free from cation causing hardness, as well as it is free from anion causing hardness. So this is the reason why we call this process as deionization or demineralization process, because here the minerals are totally removed and the water which is equivalent to the distilled water is obtained at the end. Now let us see the chemical reactions of the process. So as we know that water is first passed through the cation exchanger column, where the resin contain protons. So these protons are removed here. At the end, these protons are removed, and instead of proton, the calcium and magnesium are attached into the resin. Similarly, when the water is passed through the anion exchanger column, what happens? Here the anion exchanger contains an hydroxyl ion. So this hydroxyl ion will going to remove the chlorides or sulfate or nitrates, that is the negatively charged ions present inside the water. And finally, the negatively charged anions are attached to the resin, whereas the hydroxyl ion is removed. So in this way, you can see that when water is passed through the cation exchanger column, we will get proton in the filtrate, and when water is passed through the anion exchanger column, we will get hydroxyl ion in a filtrate. So finally, in the filtrate, we will have hydroxyl ion along with the proton. So we will get water. So H plus and OH negative together react together to form a water. So water which thus coming out from this ion exchanger is now totally free from the hardness causing ions. Okay, so hence this process is known as demineralization of water. Now, since the cylindrical unit has a limited number of cations and anions, that is limited number of protons to be exchanged and limited number of hydroxyl ions to be exchanged with the water. So after some time, the polymer get exhausted. So at this time, the inlet should be stopped and we need to regenerate the softener. So what is this regeneration process? In regeneration process, the exhausted ion exchanges are regenerated. So exhausted cationic resin regenerated by treating moderately concentrated acid. So now resin contain calcium and magnesium. So when it is treated with HCl, the resin basically get proton from the HCl. So again it is regenerated here, whereas the salt which is produced is removed through the drain. Similarly, the anion exchanger resin is regenerated by adding moderately concentrated NaOH solution. So this NaOH solution basically provide hydroxyl ion to the resin. As a result, the resin get regenerated, whereas the salt which is formed, this is sodium salt which is obtained by after this reaction, is again taken through the drain and it is washed out. So these are the two equations by which we can regenerate the resin once it is exhausted. But in the process, as I have already told you, that the water is first passed through the cation exchanger column. So the question comes, why water is first passed through the cation exchanger column? Why it is not passed through the anion exchanger column first? So what is the reason behind it? For deionization of water, water is first passed through the cation exchanger and then through the anion exchanger. This is because cation exchangers are basically they are easily attacked by alkalis, whereas all types of anion exchangers are not attacked by the acids. So this is the reason why we are first feeding the boiler water into the cation exchanger. So when water is first passed through a cation exchanger, salts present in the water are converted into corresponding acids. So which on passing through an anion exchanger do not harm it and finally get converted into pure water. If reverse sequence is used, then on passing water through the anion exchanger, alkali is produced first, which will going to harm the cation exchanger in subsequent step. Thus, such a sequence is usually avoided. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of the process? The process can be used to soften highly acidic and highly alkaline water. Any water having any pH can be used to soft through this process. It produces the water of very low hardness. So the residual hardness left after the process is only about 2 ppm. So we can compare this water with the distilled water. The water is now free from all the minerals since cations as well as anions both are exchanged by the process. The only disadvantage is the capital cost. The capital cost is very high since the chemical and equipment both are very costly. And second thing is that if water contains turbidity, then the efficiency of the process is reduced. This is because we know that the polymer is porous in nature and it is basically used as a filter. So if the turbid water is passed through this filter, then the pores of the exchanger may be blocked due to this turbidity. So hence the water should be free from turbidity before feeding it through the softener. So this is how we come to the end of this process. Thank you.